Hey everyone, Joshua Kirk here with you once again, and now it's time for episode 273 of Album of the Day, in which for today's album review, I'm going to be talking about an emo and pop-punk outfit that I actually did not know about until earlier this year, as they were coming out with their new album. I had heard their name on NPR on a New Music Friday, but really what sort of made this band so well known was actually a very positive review from none other than Mark of Spectrum Pulse. So of course I am talking about the emo and pop punk band known as Spanish Love Songs, and according to Crash Thompson, they're the kind of band name that's like a real bitch to Google. And anyway, I'm here to review their new full-length album, which was released on February 7th, 2020, so obviously before the COVID-19 pandemic. And the album is called Brave Faces Everyone. I got this on vinyl. Not sure if I could find this at other my usual record stores like Ka-Chunk, the one I'm wearing a shirt for. So I actually ordered this online because I really wanted this on vinyl. This album is pretty notorious for Spectrum Pulse giving it a 10 pretty early in the year. I'll go more into that a little bit later, but here's the album cover, which the album cover, it does on paper seem like a kind of mundane photo, but when you really think about the emotions within the album, it's like a perfect album cover for that sort of aesthetic. And there's the back. There's 10 songs on the record. It's 40 minutes long and released on Pure Noise Records after being released apparently after the band's been signed to AF Records for a little while, and this is following up their 2018 album Schmaltz. And here's a little insert that has the lyrics, and then a photo of the band there, and the liner notes, thank yous, all the usual stuff. And this album is on a clear colored vinyl, as you can see. There's side A, and then there's side B. Yeah, that's the vinyl packaging for Brave Faces Everyone, the latest album from Spanish Love Songs. Yeah, so again, like I said, Spectrum Pulse giving this album a 10 was sort of pretty much the main reason why I decided to check this album out, and I think actually the reason most people decided to check this album out. It's definitely, it was definitely completely unexpected when he gave this a 10. So yeah, I thought, well, hey, he seems to really love this one, and I trust his music taste. Let's give this album a shot. And upon listening to it, I will say that I, in more ways than one, was, this album very much wowed me more than I would have ever imagined from a pop-punk revivalist sort of group. Even though there's certainly other bands sort of in that movement that I think are putting out some great stuff. For example, Pup, Jeff Rosenstock, The Wonder Years, The Hotelier, Touche Amore I would throw in there too. Bands that don't really try to do anything new with the sound, but all except for Jeff Rosenstock's doing some pretty ambitious shit on his solo records. But they are still, the emotion and the musicianship and the talent still really is there. It's there, and then I heard about this band and was sort of wondering if it would just be kind of yet another somewhat meat and potatoes emo rock record, which in a way it kind of is, but the emotions within it, the great musicianship that the band shows on here, they are obviously playing all their instruments to their strengths, the emotive vocals and the both the really incredible way in which the album is sequenced, as well as just the overall gifted talent that this young group shows on this record is just like, I gotta say this, there is not a dud in the track list. It is a perfect album. The album opens on a pretty potent note with the song Routine Pain, and I just gotta recite the first 8 or so lines because they're just so harrowing. On any given day, I'm a 6 of 10, bed to desk to bar, eyes on the floor, still apologizing for the way I've been, each breath more full of shit than the one before. I know the negative consumes me, I guess I'm alright. Let the guilt pass right through me while my friends are taking dives. Off of cliffs and I just worry about the songs I'll never write. It don't matter, they don't want to hear me on the other side. And then of course it transitions into a pretty cathartic refrain. Let me ruin my guts tonight. And it's delivered with just this, very emotive flex from frontman Dylan Slocum. And I think that's part of the reason why this band is so incredibly strong, because they have a frontman who can just write songs that can just tear you apart pretty much. Incredible instrumental. I love the way that the song sort of starts out as this sort of very sad ballad with drony synths and lead guitar line, and then of course when the drums and the guitars get louder, it packs a lot of punch, as do the very depressing lyrics. It's definitely a very triumphant way to open the album. Even though there still is definitely a glimmer of hope to be found in a song like this, with lines like, am I gonna be this down forever? Am I gonna be this dumb forever? Am I gonna be this gone forever? Am I gonna be this numb forever? It's sort of paying tribute to the title, Brave Faces Everyone, is sort of definitely a call for an outcry for hope right there. The next track, Self-Destruction, as a sensible career choice, hilarious title, also definitely has some pretty hopeful lyrics, especially in the refrain of it won't be this bleak forever. Forever. And also it is one of the catchier songs on the record too. Love the organs that they incorporate into the mix on this track. The vocals are fantastic. There's really a lot of passion brought to this song, which really is a perfect example of, the poppier side of this album being used to great advantage. The next song, Generation Loss, is another very emotional gut punch of a song. So it's sort of talking about growing up and how it brings like a lot of ups and downs, and sort of how and it's sort of a very hard to listen to vignette about how people who kind of seem like your friends and people you think are supposed to be your family turn out to feel more distant and sort of leave you isolated and whatnot. Which, given what we're all dealing with right now with, quarantine and all that, this is the kind of song that cut deep before COVID, but it only cuts even deeper before the nationwide crisis that it is. It it is, and it definitely is very cool how it sort of serves as a bit of a motif that's repeated for majority of the album, like dysfunctional families, feeling isolated from other people, and just kind of the ups and downs that it all brings. The song transitions very well into the song "Kick," which is yet another incredibly catchy song on here. I love the kind of pep in your step attitude the song brings, even though it opens with a line about your dad shooting up for the first time, and it coming as quite a shock. You sat numb in your room for hours, ignoring the afternoon's drop-offs. What a heavy, morbid way to open the track lyrically. And the song is sort of about the many ways in which your surroundings, the world around you, is just gonna kick you in the head no matter what. And again, given what we're all dealing with right now, it definitely this album is way ahead of its time for sure. And also it's got just a very fantastic refrain that definitely shows that shows the band is showing some real optimism in their catharsis here, as Dylan shouts, "Keep your head up if you're not okay." Okay, great guitars. I love the drums on this song. I think the touches of synth at the end are definitely very nice too. And also once he starts singing about seeing someone they haven't met in a while since their graduation, just tears come as soon as that bridge comes in. The song Beachfront Property is kind of another song about sort of the dysfunction among people that are kind of supposed to be your friends. The bands, and there are some pretty hilarious lyrics on the song too, like the line of I got $800 to my name. Not sure what it means. Is as well as the line of somebody saying, you're just playing the 30-somethings in a bar. Play us some nostalgia songs because no one wants to hear about you anymore. It's sort of like the much darker, more depressing version of some of the hilarity of Pup's Morbid Stuff record from last year, and that is a very unapologetic compliment right there. I love the instrumental on this track. The piano is beautiful, really adds to the instrumental very well in a very unique way. I love the sort of dream pop influences that come from the guitars and sort of the brimming reverb on them. This is one song where reverb is actually used quite a bit on the instruments. Like you can hear it pretty audibly on the drums on the bridge. But it's used very well. Plus, it is very refreshing to hear an emo revival of an album that sounds a little more polished than some of the other albums under this umbrella that tend to have some pretty obvious imperfections, mistakes in terms of the way they're mixed. The song "Losers" is another track that I think is pretty hilarious, albeit definitely more in a darkly depressing kind of way than it is really in a way that's going to make you, chuckle out of your seat or something like that. This is yet another hook on the record that just hits like a ton of bricks with the lines of, "My bleak mind says it's cheaper just to die. The prick inside my head is laid off. and daring me to try. My bleak mind says this is all you get. Hoping all this time be all you find is, and the "it gets harder, doesn't it?" is like incredibly anthemic right there. And the lyrics that especially hit pretty hard are on the bridge. We replace my broken mattress with another hand-me-down. Taking nightly about nothing. Feels like giving up somehow. Haven't we faced enough to know this is how it goes? We're mediocre. We're losers forever. Like, just to think about, sort of, this person not really having enough money to, live in a decent space, and also sort of not feeling like he has nothing is just like, it cuts deep, man. It's deep, man. The fact that Spectrum Pulse recommended such a emotionally potent record to me is just like, what have you done to me, dude? Of course, that is a compliment right there. Yes. The next track, Optimism, as a radical life choice, yet another great song title. It's sort of, as the title suggests, is kind of a song where, the narrator is trying to really come to terms with what's going on around him, but then also sort of, in the chorus shouting out, "Don't take me out back and shoot me," which and he does it in such a cathartic and satisfying way, because, not everyone really has the guts to say something like that. Thing like that, and, and here's a few of my favorite lines from the song. It's the clear backpacks. It's the 2 new fire exits. I'm buying a beer. Don't want to think of where I'm running if another asshole takes a shot. It's the city burning down while I stare at dirty pics you sent me. Hiding in the desert, but I taste the ocean in my snot. I mean, this is the kind of sentiment even someone like me can just absolutely relate to. This is a song where, the protagonist is sort of, trying to come clean and sort of look on the bright side, even though life isn't what he thought it would be. And also the bridge is pretty incredible, not just for the lyrics halfway through the bridge, but there's a moment in the song where the instruments get a little hypnotic, and there's this like primal scream that's obviously done with a significant amount of distortion, but just like a very cathartic moment right there. The song Losers 2, the sequel to the song Losers, has an instrumental that will definitely remind the people of something like, it kind of reminds me of something the Wonder Years would do, or it also kind of has a little bit of that shimmery, kind of shoegazy, almost gothy, touche amore kind of vibe, which definitely is something I highly approve of. And this is a song where, we get to see more dysfunctions among the family that's like addressed on this album. The line of, "When my family lost it back in '08, we swore it was just a setback. All we needed was to graduate and keep ignoring facts." Pretty relatable thing if you've gone through similar things that Dylan Slocum has very much gone through here. It's sort of a song talking about the unremarkable aspects of daily life, whether it's like working at that third job, driving, as well as moms that mean well, but ultimately protest for minimum wage. Minimum wage. Love the instrumental on this track. I think the reverby guitars on the track are incredible. Really good bass line on there. Likely one of my favorites here. Definitely stands out, as do the rest of the songs. Now, even though this record, for the most part, is a pretty loud, very energetic record, there is a bit of a more stripped back, more skeletal track, which comes in the form of Dolores, with the so Dolores. Love the guitars, the chilling synths and organs on the track. I think give it a very nice, tense atmosphere. Given that given that the lyrics are definitely pretty heart-wrenching, as the vignette on this track is the aftermath of a mass shooting, and like given given some of the school shootings like Parkland that have been very depressing to hear about, it just this is the kind of song that emotionally just like breaks me. So breaks me as in very vivid detail sort of describes people trying to comfort people that have just been shot, and basically their emotional reactions to it. It's the kind of thing where if you've dealt with these kind of things before, and you've lost innocent people, or even people in your life have kind of changed a little bit because of something traumatic like this that happened to them. This song is going to be a very emotional experience. And warning, if you've actually dealt with this before, you may not want to listen to it in public. Just warning you. So warning you. But that's the whole reason why this song, even though it is the closest to a ballad on the record, it really does cut deep. And also the "We're Praying for You" refrain at the end when the guitars come in is a very triumphant way to close the song. So the song, for as harrowing as it is, it absolutely, fits right in with everything else on this masterpiece. The song closes with the title cut, "Brave Faces Everyone," in pretty perfect fashion, where the protagonist is back, sort of living on his parents' floor, and he does, and the refrain on here is very powerful, as it says, "I feel like burning down my life again, watching the fire spread over my skin, till I'm nothing left but skeleton." Skeleton. So he's definitely, in a state of, emotional downness, but if you look a little closer, sort of the lyrics, as he says, "If I burn this place down, we'd have some heat. At least I'm seeing things more positively, because I swear to God, I'm an optimist." So it really does show that there's still, this is the thing that I actually really love about pop punk is, yes, the lyrics do come from a place of unrest and depression and all kinds of emotions, but it's just delivered with just glimmering, hope that things will get better eventually. And I think this song shows that aesthetic. I think very well. Very well, and I think the instrumentation is incredible. The gang vocals near the end of the track, I think, really show a lot of passion as well. It ends on a note that couldn't have been a better note to end this album on. "I'm sick of yelling at strangers. Don't want to do this forever. When it all burns down, will you carry me over? We don't have to fix everything at once. We were never broken. Life's just very long. Brave faces, everyone." And that's the end of the record. God, this album is just I swear that, this is my album of the year right here. Because, for quite a few reasons. One, in terms of the emotions, it definitely is a record that, never fails to just, get into your heart and just rip it all apart. Some fantastic production on here, not too much in the way of imperfections here. The vocalist throughout just really sells these songs, and it really makes me feel something when I listen to them. them. The album doesn't try to be super ambitious or grandiose or any of that stuff. It's just, delivering very strong, punky tunes with plenty of great hooks, some personality, a lot of compassion, and emotions that will just. This is the kind of record where once you start listening to it, you get so you feel the emotion, and it definitely does not go away until the record's finished. The record's finished. This is an album that I definitely could have expected any other project this year to be my album of the year easily, but I gotta be honest and say that it goes to this band that I knew nothing about until 2020 and Spectrum Pulse's review. But I completely I'm completely sold, and the hype behind it is definitely real. Real. So, in the words of Spectrum Pulse, this is the first 10 out of 10 of the 2020s, folks. This is just a fantastic record. I highly recommend you check it out if you love this kind of sound, but even people that maybe aren't usually into pop punk and maybe more prefer those people like Jeff Rosenstock would absolutely enjoy this record, I think, for the emotions within it being so powerful. That is my incredibly glowing and lengthy review of the new Spanish Love Songs album, Brave Faces Everyone, and I'll see you for episode 274.